So here I go, getting ready to throw my underwater camera in at the end of my line with my pack bait on there. This is of course the view from the camera itself, so don't get dizzy. It does a little spinning here, but don't worry, I'm going to slow it way down on the launch. Okay, so here's the launch, and you'll notice it's a little choppy. It's probably frame by frame because I was only filming at 30 frames per second. I can film at 60 frames per second, but when you're filming more frames per second, the battery doesn't last as long, so I went with 30 frames per second. And you'll see, after it hits the water, I put it back to regular speed because I wanted you to have an idea of how long it took to get to the bottom. So here we go. It's about to go on regular speed right now. So almost immediately you can see a dark silhouette move in the background. That's a big carp. So he must have sensed that something fell in the water and came to check it out. And then these further clips are edited, so there was time in between. But you'll see there's quite a few of these carp around. I mean, there must be hundreds of them in this lake. They kind of remind me of submarines, just the way they're shaped and kind of the way they drift along. When their tails get near the camera, they always sweep a bunch of debris into the water and kind of cloud things up. Now the next clip, we have a carp actually attacking the bait, and I think he grabbed it for a while and pulled it and completely knocked the camera out of whack so that the camera was pointing in a totally different direction. Here he comes. Here comes the take. Boom! He slammed it. And then you couldn't see anything because there was so much stuff flying around. But once it cleared out, now the camera was oriented completely different. I think it was pointing up because, as you'll see in the next couple clips, you can see the bottom of the fish more. So after this next clip of this carp just kind of cruising around, I actually pulled the line back in because I had caught a small bluegill and wanted to try to use the head of the bluegill for bait instead of this pack bait. So you'll see me pulling the line. I switch out the bait and get a fresh head of a bluegill on it and send it back out. So here I go to hook the bluegill, and I don't always point my head, tilt it down far enough to show you what I'm doing. But you'll get the chance to see the head when I get ready to cast it off because the camera will be pointing right at it. And it looks pretty wild falling through the water column. So you can see me kind of pull back on the line after it hit the ground. I really thought I was doing that while it was still falling. And it's just the reason I do that is to try to get the bait to land right in front of the camera. And you can see there's already carp investigating. Another lesson I learned is you see that little tube with the black at the end of it? That's a mistake. That should be pushed up against the camera so you don't see it. Something that won't happen again because I'll find a way to make sure it's secured. And then this clip I think is out of order. But anyway, it's just interesting because this huge carp with his eye pointed right at the camera goes by. And this is the last clip here. But I'll be putting in this camera in the lake again tomorrow, and we'll see how it does. Hopefully a big catfish will come and grab the bait.